And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go check out our friends at Hail Mary's. They are in Cheviot on Harrison Avenue, right in the Dora District. You can walk from bar to bar with your drinks, or you can just stay at Hail Mary's and enjoy your time all night. They've got a great selection of TVs, a 9-screen video wall. Outside of the bathrooms, there's not a bad seat in the house when it comes to viewing the big game. The bathroom, still a good seat in there, just no TVs. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers. You can stream all the games, and Cincinnati sports will always be on the video wall. You got a brand new walk-in cooler. Their draft lines are brand new. And not only do they pour the coldest beer in town, but they also do so in 32.8 degree frosted glasses. So get yourself out to Hail Mary Sports Bar. Support the people that support BCJ. Keegan, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Long, a 2-week grind of
I was gonna say we always talk to the players. Let's talk to Keegan. How was your second trip to Camp Higher Ground?
It was a challenge getting done with the hard work of standing on the sidelines and writing in a notebook, and then trying to contain myself from shoveling about 1,400 to 1,500 calories into my mouth.
That's a bad spot for you. Somebody that tries to manage everything calorie that goes into your body. At least it was a little healthier this year than normal.
Where did you get that from?
Because I've been eating there for 17 years. And this year was a little healthier than the years past.
No, it's because the food today was like turkey and roast beef wraps, and Chad's like, that's healthy.
Sure. It's healthier than what they normally put out there.
But I would just
one day, come on.
I would just sit in the sun and then go eat all that food, and then I'd come home and be like, I have to take a nap right now. This coma's hitting me right now. But it was awesome.
I didn't really get camp fatigue this year until last night, and I wonder if normally after about practice 8, practice 9, you're like, oh my God, we still got how many more practices to go? I guess this year, because there was so many new players and so many guys to meet and get to know, and there was a lot more to watch this year than maybe there has been in some years past. I didn't really get hit with that camp wall until last night, and then it was well, tomorrow's the last day at Higher Ground. Was your experience the same?
I think it's probably because there's a lot of exciting uncertainties, I guess you could say. So you can go into each practice being like, oh, Brendan Sorsby's looking pretty good. That's interesting what he could possibly do. And Evan Pryor, Tyron Smith, he's a lot of fun to watch. And then you get to watch Jake Golday and all the really good linebackers, the DBs, and Marquez Parker and Lendrick Barber, the defensive linemen. So there was a lot to watch, and there's a lot, I guess, at stake, and a lot of the uncertain players on the team. So I think it did fly by, definitely compared to last year, when it's kind of, I don't know what we're going to have, and what we have to watch at camp isn't the most exciting players, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I would say also, I think it did help kind of alternating days on doing practice reports, because then you could have a day where you just watched and you weren't stuck to your notebook, looking for stuff to put in the practice report. I think it gave you a little bit of extra time to okay, it's I can just watch and observe and not be looking what's the content that I need to get. Trust me, doing that for, Tim did it forever, and then I did it without you for 5-6 years, where by the time, like I said, you get to day 9 and you're I have said all of this shit. I have said everything that I can possibly say, and splitting it up a little bit made it a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, I mean, that was for you, but I was still taking notes, expecting you to come up to me and be like, I have to talk to some important people at practice today, so you're gonna have the practice.
I know what days those are when I pull in and the parking lot's full. And then I'm like, I'm
There's
not
a
going to
lot
be
of
able to.
people. Yeah, there's a lot of people in collared shirts walking around, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to
Well, you
schmooze
realize
today.
most of those people are members.
Yeah.
So they, and they're out there every year. So I've made friends with a
Yeah.
lot of them and they want to chat. And I
Yeah.
feel rude being like, look, I know you want to chat, but I
have to
have to
work.
I have to do this. So I didn't do that to you too much. The biggest one was
No.
yesterday when I just left my backpack at home. Just forgot it. Totally. I got in my car and I got the higher ground and I turned around to get my backpack and I was like, oh, that's in my
Oh.
office. Great job, Chad. Excellent. But you did get the joy of seeing me get tossed into a cold tub today.
Yes, that was something special. Just your legs flapping in the wind on the way to the cold
I was
tub.
taking my shoes
Your
off.
arms are just like hanging down.
Notice how quick I got my phone out of my pocket.
Yeah, I think, and this was a constant with everyone that got thrown in, but yours was maybe the worst one. There's like a moment before you get thrown in when you're in the air where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting tossed in a cold tub. And then you hit the water and you realize how cold it is, and the jokes are over. Like, you're like, get me
it's
out.
not funny anymore.
So you like paused for a second in the cold tub, and then you went, oh my gosh.
Well, it consumes you. But like, I went under. Like when you go under and it covers you, like, and then you come up and you're like, wow, that's cold.
It was awesome.
But still, mine was nothing close to Carrie's, which was so funny because I was like, how fast are you these days? And he's like, oh, like you think I'm gonna, like, no, they're not gonna pick me up. We're not gonna do this song and dance. If they want me in the cold tub, we're going to the cold tub.
Yeah. And then the video they put out before of all the players, like Jordan Young is like, I'm getting them. Like he yells at me so much, I'm getting them. And then Kai Stokes is like, I'm legitimately worried about what he will do after we throw him. I don't know what he's going to do. That was awesome.
And then he jumped out of the cold tub like, ah! Howard Dean, is that who that was?
I think my favorite
was fired up.
Is it Mitch Mariotti?
Yeah.
He's smiling on the way down, laughing
on his face.
And then he gets in the water. He's like, this is not funny anymore. Get me out of here.
Well, the worst part for me was, and if you watch the video closely enough, you can see it. There were two tubs, and the one tub didn't have any ice in it.
Yeah.
And that's where we were headed, right? We were headed to that tub. And the tub next to it looked like they had just dumped like 4 fresh bags of ice in the tub. And Gavin Gerhardt goes, that one, and redirected. And you can see them going this way, and they turn slightly to the left, and they tossed me in the one that had 4 fresh bags of ice in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So just a little peek behind the curtain of the last day is always great because those guys are glad to get out of there, man. But Eric Phillips, like, he got a little teary-eyed. I'm just kidding. But he was like, it's a little bittersweet. He had, that was his 6th camp at Higher Ground.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet to have it come to an end because it becomes part of the journey, especially when you've gone that many times. Like, I'm sure to see the curtain draw on that last one, the curtain close on that last one is, not emotional, but like, damn, that's the last, like, Win has been there 26 years. It's 2 weeks roughly every year that they go out there. He has spent a year of his life at Camp Higher Ground. Yeah. Think about that.
52 weeks.
A year of his life at Camp Higher Ground. That's wild to me.
Yeah. That's crazy. I thought it was hilarious when Eric Phillips pointed to Monte Whedon and he was like, he was in middle school.
I said that. I said that.
You said it to Jonathan Thompson. And he pointed
I was like, I think he was in high school. He was in high school when you started here, and he was like a sophomore in high school.
A freshman. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they pointed at Whedon and Phillips was like, he said you were in elementary school when I started coming here.
Yeah.
So the last day is always great. They went pretty hard today. Like I thought it was a physical practice. They ran the ball more today than we had seen the entire camp. Like they were running a lot, and the run game looked good. Corey looked great.
Yeah.
Chance Williams, my guy Chance Williams looked really good. Manny Covey looked good. So that was probably the biggest news of the day, is that they finally, and I wonder if we'll see, there's a scrimmage tomorrow at Nippert. It's not going to be as long as the one that they had last week. I think it'll be a little shorter, and I doubt we're going to see any of the big names. Or if we do see them, we'll see them very briefly, and then that'll be it. But I was happy to finally see a little bit more of like the physicality in the run game, kind of just on display on that last practice out there.
Yeah, and I'm like you said, it was like they went after it, and it's because Wednesday was a pretty light day, all things considered. Yeah. I don't think there were a lot of team periods. Everything they did.
Check down Wednesday, baby.
Yeah, I almost put that in the headline for the camp report, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. Let's just do something generic. But yeah, Chance Williams, I really liked how he showed off his shiftiness at the second level. I think his ability to make some linebackers miss and then kind of extend plays. Corey's Corey. I think he had a pretty hard cutback, went left and kind of left the defense in the dust, and they blew the play dead. But it would have been really interesting to see if Kai Stokes would have been able to come from the other side of the field and chase him down in a pursuit drill before he got to the end zone. And then Manny Covey, he's taken advantage of a lot of his opportunities with Evan Pryor, dealing with a groin injury right now. Nothing major, nothing serious. So he's taking advantage of that. And then I didn't see a lot of Victor Dawson today, but he's been really, really active in goal line scenarios. So
he didn't do a lot of like short yardage type stuff today, where he's been outstanding.
Yeah. But like a lot of the subscribers have said on the website, I think we said it, that before the scrimmage last weekend, we didn't see much of anything from the running game, especially in kind of explosive stuff. Yeah. But now it's kind of like, okay, we're going to display it and we're going to ratchet it up as we get closer to the season. They've shown the ability to kind of compete against this Cincinnati defense, at least.
It also made me very concerned about the run defense. I'm not going to lie. Like I was concerned about it. And then they start running the ball a lot. And there were backs as the backs go marching by, as the old fight song would say. There was a lot of backs in the open field.
What would you rank Cincinnati's run offense in the Big 12? Ollie Gordon won.
So hard. Well, yeah, but I don't. Oklahoma State wasn't up there with like I think the three top rushing attacks in the league last year were West Virginia, UCF, and Cincinnati. And I think those three all mostly return like the bulk of their rushing attack. I would guess Oklahoma State would be up there. The thing that probably hurts Oklahoma State in those final rankings, Keegan, is they didn't settle on Ollie Gordon until like week 4?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'd seen something about like he's going to win the Heisman with 8 games under his belt or something.
Yeah. So I think it was, week 4 before they really settled on him as their starting back. So they'll be up there. Mm-hmm. Kansas will be up there. Kansas State will be up there because you've got Avery Johnson's going to run a lot more, I think, than Will Howard did. And then they also have Dylan Edward. Like they have a very good backfield. Devin Neal is electric for Kansas.
I'm looking at the stats right now, and this is so indicative of Cincinnati's struggles in the red zone last year. 3rd best rushing attack at 2,600 yards on 517 attempts. They have the 3rd least rushing touchdowns in 2023.
Yeah.
14.
That's got to change.
West Virginia 32, UCF 28, Kansas 32, Kansas State 32, Texas 29. That's crazy. I'd never even realized that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll be a top 5 rushing attack in the Big 12. I honestly think if you open up the passing game, it can be even better. than it was. It might not be quite as many yards, but I think you can get more yards per carry. You can be more efficient. You can hopefully, because safeties aren't, up near the box and can cut those plays off with better angles. Hopefully they're having to, respect the play down the field, and, a Kiner can get to the edge quicker and not have a guy so close to, cutting off the angle. I would go probably 4th or 5th in the league this year.
Okay.
But more effective, because there should be much more of a passing element that didn't exist last year.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of pressure on the linebackers, and it's a good year to have good linebackers.
And the safeties. And like I said to Mo today, like, one of my least favorite things, like watching football, is a team that has safeties like as their number 1 and number 2 tacklers. Cincinnati's going to have to do a lot of work for that not to happen, because I think the safeties are good and they're going to be good in run support. But if your safeties are making plays and lots of tackles, that means teams are getting 5, 6, 7 yards. And that was kind of the frustrating thing today, is there was a lot of like 5, 6, 7 yard carries where it felt like every time they ran the ball, it was like 2nd and 3, which, if you're watching from an offensive perspective, is exactly what you want. From a defensive perspective, you're never going to win if the opponent is constantly in 2nd and short. You just can't win that. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's about the end of it, Keeks. Another Camp Higher Ground comes to a close. This one ended with my clothes drying on the back seat of my car. I did get a pair of shorts out of it so that I didn't have to ride home. And I'm not – Zach Stipe, I think, has like 15 outfits in his car, because they threw him in. He disappeared, and he came back in a brand new outfit that he like already had ready.
Constant pro.
He lives in his car. I bet he's got one of those like fold up, like accordion things that everything's on a hanger and it's all straight and like firm pressed. And he just, all right, I need to change into this. But it was a great camp.
Yeah, and it ends with me dreaming about beef stroganoff. So if anyone's watching this and you've had good beef stroganoff in the city, please comment where, and I will go and get it.
I've told you how
I know it's easy to make, but do
you have a crock pot?
Do I? Maybe. Possibly. I could borrow one from somebody.
I wish you guys understood how many things I have to just buy and send to Keegan, because he's not yet figured out how to adult.
No, not yet.
I've got a 14-year-old child and a 23-year-old child.
I ate the same 5 meals my entire senior year at Indiana. So
what a mess. All right. Camp is done. That's a wrap. Scrimmage tomorrow. We'll have a nightcap. I'll have a practice report, kind of summing it up. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a super long scrimmage, but we'll get you guys all the details on what they do. And then we move back to campus next week for a week on campus, and then into game week. So it's gonna be a good time. We'll see you tomorrow night. That's the nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.